My Gavan and Melanine, and well met indeed. I am Arakia Galadurthan, head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer, and welcome back to Divide and Conquer, as we continue on as Gundabad. We are fighting in the south, Mythelberg, which we recently captured, and the Anduin are trying to take it back, and we're fighting in Azanar, where the dwarves are trying to take that back. We are, however, at the moment, mustering a small army, which is here. I say small, it's an entire banner army, which is going to head to Nord Mazog and take our holdings back from the elves.
Come and get
because
me,
they
coward.
took it from us. I think I might give Mythelberg one more turn, maybe, or perhaps just rally now. I'm not sure.
Be gone.
We'll give it a turn. They might attack us because they've got the siege equipment now. I'd rather defend than attack. And then Azanar, we will just wait. The army in Nord Mazog, I suppose, could hold there rather than going for Torfilin and move east. And then we've got a solid front there and leave just some troops behind. But in any event, we'll end the turn. So from a modding point of view, there's a few things to discuss. There won't be a developer diary this week, primarily as already mentioned. Perhaps mentioned, maybe I haven't mentioned. I want to do some modding of my own before I do the developer diary. And I'm hoping to do some on Sunday, as I'm out on the majority of Saturday in the capital of my country. So I'm hoping to do some on Sunday, and then hopefully then do a developer diary for next week, but time will tell. But there are a few things that have been discussed. Chief amongst them, the two topics that I've thrown open to yourselves. Obviously, the Snagger being number one. I think I may have already said, but I'll say it again. Snagger will only be available in Goblin Town once you take Goblin Town, along with a few other goblins. Then Gundabad will be able to then take units from Khazad-dum, Dol Guldur, Barad-dûr. Yes, I did explain that. So that's the one point that I just wanted to rehash.
Kill them all.
As we take on Der Mythor, who's got a sizable number of units, but a terribly small number of men. But we'll take him. I think we can do it this time. Crush these buggers. Do we want to attack? Because then it puts us... No, yes, because then the elves can't run away. But the big one is the question about trolls in regard to Isengard, and I don't think it's anything that we wanted to keep secret, so I will tell you what the current plan is. I read through all of your feedback, and I'm very grateful to you all for giving feedback. And this is what I'm going to do. I and the team, well, in agreement. Number one, the Isengard Trolls of the White Hand will be removed as a unit. They will no longer exist. However, Trolls of the Mountains, i.e. Mountain Trolls, and Trolls of Mordor, i.e. Ologai, excuse me, sorry, will now become available to Isengard. So Isengard will still get trolls, but they will now... Isengard itself, the region of Isengard, will no longer be able to train trolls. So for Isengard to now actually have access to trolls, they will need to capture one of the mountain or Mordor-style regions that has the troll resource. So regions off the top of my head that have this hidden resource are Dol Guldur, Barad-dûr, the Plains of Gorgoroth, any of the Misty Mountains, the Etten Moors, the troll lands in Eriador, and I think some places in the Blue Mountains also have trolls. So that's where Isengard will be able to get trolls. They won't need the ring to get trolls, they will just be able to get them. But they will need something, and that's something that we hope to add. I'm going to look into seeing how easy I can do it. I feel confident in my ability to do it. Isengard will require Saruman to be alive in order to train trolls. The theory behind it's going to be that unlike Gundabad, where orcs from Angmar will fight for you because their leader is dead and you are stepping in as a more powerful leader, with trolls for Isengard, it is merely Saruman's power that allows them to fight for him. Because of course if Sauron is still alive, they would fight for Sauron, they would not fight for Saruman. And so it's Saruman's power that turns them away from Sauron and to Isengard. And so Saruman will have to be alive to train trolls, is the first point. We're not going to need the wargs. We don't want to even get them near. My voice just broke. We don't want to even get them near because they'll just get shot. So just stand over there and do nothing. And we probably should have some sort of guard to go with the javelin troops. Send the rest of the trash with them. Oh, they are the trash. Send the javelins with the trash. Yeah. The Dravelins? Send the Dravelins with the trash. The second thing is that Nazkai will be changed in two ways. Number one, they will have their battalion size increase, the number of men that they have in their battalion. And number two, they will be given the naphtha throwing feature. They will become firebomb throwers, grenadiers, call them what you will. The Nazkai will become the unit that throws Isengard's fire, as it will be known. Fire throwers. Now, the premise, therefore, being, of course, that while Saruman is a great and genius mind, and he is working on providing more sort of gunpowder options for his nation, it is the power of the ring that allows him to miniaturize and more easily personally weaponize the Isengard fire into a small handheld bomb rather than large wall-shaking devices. So that is the second change. So the trolls are being replaced by other trolls and just restricted so that they won't form as much of a part as the roster as they did in the past. That's the compromise there. And the... Oh, you didn't do what I just told you to do, did you? And now I've got it on times 6 like a moron, and you're all dying because... elves. So those are the changes for Isengard. Firebomb throws will be added, but not really. Or, well, they will be, but in the form of Nazkai getting firebomb throwing abilities. And trolls will be restricted. Now, in regards to the other request, which was to add a proper sword and shield elite unit, what we will most likely do is just improve Uruk-hai infantry. So rather than giving you a new Uruk-hai sword and board infantry unit, Hummingbird was quick to point out that Uruk-hai infantry are already Isengard's tier 3 offering, i.e. their kind of mainstream elites.
Very much in our favor. Victory will be ours.
Oh, our javelin troops have just run themselves to their deaths. But that's alright. We were losing so many to arrow fire, but we seem to have brought most of them into melee now, so... So there we are, that's Isengard in a nutshell. I've also seen some people suggest that the half-orcs should form the first tier of Isengard's army, and then Uruks should be the later tiers. So basically the half-orcs and the Uruk-like raider units should swap places. But it is distinctly written that half-orcs were Isengard's kind of were superior. Not obviously to Uruk-hai being the finest fighting force of the Shadow, but half-orcs were better than the kind of low-tier entry-level Isengard units. And so that's what we're following and staying.
They have lost half their men.
20% plays 50%. We're killing the buggers, finally. Oh, they're trapped in perpetual sprint. Didn't use all of our arrows, and our Sanaga archers can't even fire anymore. Oh, there we are. So Isengard will be adjusted a little bit as has been requested, but I don't think too much else has gone on. Hummingbird has made some wonderful visual changes. The Hin Idaur of Mirkwood now have a completely unique look. They don't share armor with the rest of the units from their nation. And a new mercenary unit is being designed to come from the far east, and it will be available for Evil Men factions, their own very own mercenary unit. Hummingbird has resurrected some old models and textures, and we'll add them in. And speaking of textures, it will likely be, I'm fairly certain it will be possible, that when Isengard trains the trolls as listed before, the Olokai, the mountain trolls, the Isengard version will have a white hand on it. Because we can change textures between individual units, but we can't change their models. So we can very easily just add a white hand to the Isengard version of the trolls. And that is what we will do.
Our men have taken control
Now
of the
wait
city.
for this battle to just end, really, as we're fighting through. I must confess that something of the major confession is that I recently changed departments at work. I used to be in wills and probate, and as I'm coming up to my training contract, at the minute I'm a paralegal and can be moved around, and I've recently moved department. And in the new department that I'm in, I'm considerably busier. And so I'm now finding that when I come home after work, my drive to record for YouTube is dropping off significantly. I am now very busy from the minute I arrive at work to the minute I leave, whereas before I was not at all. And so I fear that there will be constant disruption to my schedule, which already I don't even follow, as I come home and frequently feel just not up to doing a recording. I appreciate that it's not the recording. Obviously, I don't have to be in good health or anything to do a recording. I could record if I wasn't very well, and I could record even if I was feeling tired. But the problem is that when I'm feeling tired, the quality of the recording I feel is less than stellar, because I don't really say or do anything. Yeah, it's almost like the recording is just there because I needed to put one up, and so I just recorded and zombied my way through it, and that's what I don't want. So, and as I say before, my golden rule is if I don't want to record, I don't. And so that may unfortunately be the case as we go on. However, it may only be these first few weeks where I've been... I mean, I'm not going to go into the details, obviously, but I've been busier these first few weeks than I will be in the weeks coming ahead. And then it will, after Christmas as well, it will then slow down considerably because I've moved over kind of almost temporarily to a sister department that's understaffed. So I'm busy at the moment, but I may not be later on. So this is maybe a temporary thing. But then when I become a trainee in July, I may then become obviously even busier again. And who knows where we'll be. Well, I'm not even thinking ahead to when I finish my training, which is 2 years after July. And so who knows where we'll be at that point. If I'll even be still here, I don't know. But obviously when I become a qualified solicitor, it will prove challenging to keep up with the schedule, I should imagine. Speaking of the schedule, of course, and the channel in general, something I wanted to gauge interest on, and I'm not going to do a poll or anything. I realised I didn't do a poll for Isengard, and I said I was going to. But I won't do a poll. But I'd be interested to gauge your feedback on... I have recently turned off the comments of a lot of the lore videos. In fact, every lore video prior to sort of the last 3, I have turned comments off. Because, as I have said again in the past, apologies for the repetition, I constantly get told about all the mistakes that I made in the videos. And so it becomes something of a chore to have to read through the comments. And also I get pulled up on people's personal opinions, and so reading that I'm an idiot or I should... One person told me that disliking the video was not enough, and what he should be able to do is... it was a curious choice of words, but I remember it distinctly. He said that disliking the video was not enough, and he should be able to spit on me because of the poor form of the video. And he also took particular dislike to a side comment I had about Christianity, and... Anyway, it all led on to me thinking that perhaps it would be prudent for the Melkor video, which is by far and away the most popular one, to perhaps revisit that one and remove things like my own non-Lord of the Rings comments, which don't really have a place and showed my naivety at the time, and remove things like that, and also just remove any of the errors. Every lore video I have done since, I am going to go south for Torfilin, but every lore video I've done since... I have been meticulous in making sure that the mistakes are either not present at all, or they are absolutely minor things where I've just thought of something off the top of my head and I have been found to be incorrect. Oh, wrong thing. How much money are we making? One of these scrolls. That one, there we are. 4,220. Well, we'll give it another turn before we raise any money then, before we worry about building things. But I feel like I could improve upon the quality of the video. And as I say, Melkor is the most popular video and by far and away the most commented on video. And it is way back when my channel quality wasn't as good. Right, we're taking on Iptreo. We can't have him just sieging us out till the end, so we've got to take him now while the going's good. He doesn't have a general, so it gives us a big boost. So the Melkor video, in my mind, was A, old, so the quality is poor, there are mistakes, and there are sidebars that aren't really warranted or merited or necessary. They are just there. They're there because I said them at the time in, as I say, naivety. But all they do now is really provoke people, and that's not my intent. The intent is to just have an interesting little talk about Melkor. And so provoking a vast section of the viewership is foolish, in my opinion. And that, unfortunately, is what I have done. So would be interested in redoing the Melkor one, but I would like to be informed upon that decision by your thoughts. As the 4,000 or 5,000 of you who watched this video, although likely 2,000 or so who actually watched the whole video. I'm sure that many of you have seen the lore videos. You are the dedicated daily following, if you will. Those who watch everything and anything and watch all the videos. And so I would be interested in your thoughts to redo the more popular ones. Oh, this is a Wildmen town. Something that someone reported as a bug, but I don't know why I'm saying it here. I doubt they saw it from YouTube. But the Wildmen towns don't have arrow towers in the walls, but that has since been fixed. But it was reported as a bug a little while ago. And I should have just written it in a reply to him then and there, saying, yes, this has been fixed. But I didn't, and so I've said it now instead. Who's that down there? Fireman Parkman. Fireman Parkman. That didn't make any sense. But for further updates about well, nothing related at all, but at the minute I'm on my lunch breaks yet again reading the Wheel of Time. And I am now about 80% of the way through book number 2. We've just reached Falm, the town proper. And I find myself, and I don't think this is a spoiler to be honest, are there spoilers for a series that's like 40 years old, 30 years old? But anyway, I find myself quite fed up with how Rand refuses to accept that he is the Dragon Reborn, and to be honest, every time he has a little inner monologue about how I'm Rand al'Thor, I'm not the Dragon Reborn, I just want to roll my eyes and get it like over and done with. And I thought I'd have a little moan about that because there's surely many of you who have read Wheel of Time, and so we'll also have thoughts on Rand al'Thor. I welcome them. In my other spare time at the moment, I am thoroughly enjoying playing Cities Skylines. My asset count has reached, in terms of modded assets or assets added in from a mod, we're up to about 450 now, so doing very well. The city is chugging along quite nicely. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I keep reshaping and redesigning areas, and I've built an entire second town on the borders of the first town, only to then destroy it and rejig it again. But I'm really enjoying it. As soon as I finish recording this, I'm going to have dinner and then play it all evening again, but thoroughly enjoying it. We are winning this quite soundly, but we're taking more losses than we need to, but then that's because at the minute I'm rather vainly enjoying the sound of my own voice more than I am paying attention. Which is wrong. I should be paying attention. When I pay attention, I feel like I'm a slightly above average player. Nowhere near an excellent player, but above average. But when I don't pay attention, I might as well not even be playing. I might as well just give it to the AI because I'm useless.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Goodness, the Vale have terrible stamina, don't they? Terrible morale, sorry. We've only killed 58%. Oh, 59 as I said that. And yeah, almost their whole army is routing. Morons. Use all your arrows on these fools as we chase down the enemy. Oh no, they've all gone. So, someone's still over here. One Valesman routing. Pull the army up. I'm sure we can get these to rout as soon as we stand next to them. Ah, did you see that man running away and he died as he ran? 496 of ours died, 1,246 of them, well, lost, sorry, not died. And the top kills go to the Snow Orc Scouts, who killed 215, closely followed by Snow Orc Scouts at 212. So our archers actually, again, did most of the killing. Always the way. Fear no darkness. Adrian von Ziegler plays in the background. It's Christmas time though, everyone, and I've updated my iPod with Christmas music. I've been listening to that steadily. I love Christmas, shan't lie to you. And I thoroughly enjoy everything about Christmas time. I believe I'm going to 4 Christmas markets this festive season. I do love a good Christmas market. Success, men! Success! get a retrain on them. Anyone else that can retrain when we got the money? No, we don't actually have the money. That was not relevant. So we'll end the turn there and see what happens. Another Gundabad update for you, and I don't think it's a surprise. No, I'm sure he put a preview it up. The town of Rukskibil, which is north of Gundabad, and was one of the newer regions, has been renamed. I believe it's called Berzakul. I can't recall on the name, but more importantly, it's been given a custom settlement. It's been made a custom settlement. So it has a unique battle map now to represent the fact that it is the farthest north, furthest into the wastes, if you will, of any of our towns. I think, anyway. Certainly now that Pitkaranta has gone and Ruskiavain. Oh, we have a new family member. Born in a medieval castle with wives and all sorts. But in truth, of course, an orc. So Rukskibil, this one here, been renamed and has been made a custom settlement. So it'll probably have a unique battle map, a unique campaign strategy map model sooner or later.
No sleeping here! Come on! No sleeping here!
Alright, press for Torfilin. You move over there and see if anything is going to come and assist them. Oh, there's Thranduil's Halls. Perfect viewpoint. On Nazanar, can you retrain anything? You could build a slave pit. I will take that, because that will give me free upkeep and more recruitment slots. In fact, recruitment slots. No, the castle gets them, doesn't it? Yeah, you can train in a castle immediately, but you can't train in a town immediately, which many people, of course, do not know. One of the most commonly asked questions we get. I'm playing as Gondor, and on turn 1, I can't recruit any troops in Gondor itself. It's like, oh, really? What a surprise. It's not like that was intentional. I can laugh about it, and I can mock you all, because, as usual, we have written that in the welcome message that pops up at the beginning. And other than have that message pop up at the start of every turn, we can't do more than that. So we're left hoping people read it. And hoping. I had someone the other day tell me that who was completely unaware that the axe thrower crash was a thing, and it made me chuckle, just not because of the fact that he was reporting a bug, but in the way that it was on the Khazad-dum overview. And he said that the Khazad-dum reclaimers were broken, and every time they ever throw their axes, they crash the game, so he had to never use their axes. And it made me... It's sad, I know, but it made me laugh that he thought that that was just restricted to the Khazad-dum reclaimers, when in truth, of course, that's the very, very widely known axe thrower crash. And the thing that gets me the most about the axe thrower crash is that a lot of people simply cannot accept that it may be a crash that they have entirely brought on themselves. Like, we often go on about people not installing the mod properly, or people not corrupting their downloads, things like that. But the axe thrower crash is 100% down to how you install the game. And if you install it in air quotes properly, into its own third age 3 file, then axe throwers will never crash your game, and you will never have had them crash your game. But of course, if you install it any other way, literally any other way, they will crash your game, and then you'll come complaining to us because you didn't follow our instructions, and you then crashed your own game. Right, I think I'm going to move on Witherboard. The dwarves have buggered off. They're pressing on Dane's Halls, which is folly. So we'll leave behind some Snagger and go for Witherboard. Screw it.
Objective, get ready for fighting. Kill them all.
And we're here to take Torfilin from the elves. Goblin Town, I saw, can recruit quite a sizable number of units. So we'll take those units. Bolster the defense of Meithelberg with some trash. Enedwaith and Bree are at war, and Linden and Ered Lewin are at war. That's interesting. That doesn't happen much when they're the AI. It happens quite a lot when you're either Linden or Ered Lewin, and you're attacked by one or t'other. But it doesn't happen much when the AI controls the two nations. It's interesting how small the Dwarven army that's attacking Dane's Halls is. The auto-resolve favours dwarves that much that they feel that they can win when they are outnumbered what looks, at first glance, looking at the banners, about 4-1. They're ballsy. I mean, you can't deny it. They are ballsy. Something I should say about modding, because my mind is... There's not a station coming up where I'm afraid you can board my train of thought. Something else about modding is that we keep getting requests to do quite in-depth scripts. But rather unfortunately, for ever since the latest version was released, Racer has pretty much disappeared. He popped back a couple of times to say that things in real life were getting hectic, as they often do. And that's always the number one reason why modders are pulled away from the modding scene. But we haven't actually had contact with him, to my knowledge, for months now. Literally getting on months. And of course, if Racer were to depart the mod for good, which we're getting to the kind of point now where I wouldn't rule that out. When people take long breaks away from the mod, the problem is that when they come back, they either have to relearn a load of stuff that they taught themselves and they'd kind of sort of forgotten, or they have to just kind of catch up with where the mod actually is, and that always puts them back a bit. They don't really know what's happening, where everyone is, what kind of things have been done. They're returning to their own to-do lists and wondering why X or Y or Z was listed as a to-do, and they're returning to bugs that maybe weren't there when they left, and all of this can basically mean that they return full of energy, but are swiftly bogged down in the admin of returning and just kind of think, to hell with it, that's too much, I'm not going to bother. And that happens a lot. I cannot stress that enough. A lot of modders disappear for normally about half a year to a year, which is what we're kind of closing in on with Racer. And then they come back suddenly and they announce their triumphant return, only to then swiftly disappear for good about a month later because there's just too much to do. And of course, real life never goes away, obviously. We say real life, but that makes it sound like we're playing some sort of MMO or where we're all living this fantasy life. Of course, it's just because modding is kind of... It's more job-like than game-playing-like. And so when you say real life, you mean things like where I'm coming home from work and I'm absolutely knackered, so I don't want to do modding, for example. It's that kind of thing. But it can be even more severe than that. Obviously, moving house or a loved one passing away and maybe you're the executor or things like that. Who knows what's going on in their lives.
Defend the camp!
But when they come back, those problems don't necessarily go away. They may just come back at a quiet point and then they'll flare up again. And the longer it goes on normally, then the more likely they're not going to come back at all. So that's a real threat. Captain Totila has come, and he brings 3 units of trackers, 2 shield bearers and a Bjorning warriors, which is relatively good. But Elfwine is the real threat with his skin changes. He's a renowned mercenary. Oh, no, he should be a renowned mercenary. He's a guardian of the Karok. That's interesting. Elfwine appears to be a unique general of some kind. Anyway, he only comes with a few units of nothing, really. So we should win quite soundly. But Totila is attacking us, and Elfwine is assisting. This image has popped up a few times now, and I've seen a few people ask after it, and it is an artist's depiction of the Blue Wizards in the far east of Middle-earth. Quick to add, hasten to add. Right, they've got archers, we've got some archers. So we'll line those up, get them ready to shoot the enemy. Hopefully they will kill many without taking too many losses. Everyone else can just kind of stand in a line behind for now, I think. And start shooting them. Oh, you're all going to try and run away. All right. Right, let's run the line forward. Go for it. Go, 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 go. I know the bulk of them are archers, but... Shoot them, shoot them. I'm not worried about these. Where's Elfwine? No, he's coming in from behind them as well, so we don't have to worry about anything other than focusing on facing forwards. Flanking on the sides. Should be an easy kill.
Victory will be ours.
Oh, yeah, the Bjorning warriors are routing. That is fascinating to me. Ah, they're already not routing. So you've always got to chase them down. Javelin troops. Move
Only
over
half
there.
the enemy force remains.
Alright, brace yourselves, the enemy comes. Ah, Elfwine died and they're all running away. Right, run back here. We'll let our archers get some kills in.
The battle is very much in our favour.
Who are they?
Victory
Bjorning
will be
warriors.
ours.
And who are they? The Stour Sheriffs. Oh, they're little stone throwing buggers, aren't they? Oh, that rain is a real pain in the ass. Oh, the skin changers have very handily come and stood right next to our javelin troops. So them. Go and support the raiders. Now they're routing.
The enemy are badly
Lightning's
bloodied.
annoying as well, isn't it?
They have
Jesus.
lost half their men.
I think the only thing keeping them going now is the fact that Elfwine still lives, although he looks like he'll die anytime soon. He's only got 4 men left. A valiant charge from their defender and leader, of course, but foolish and overall. There he is. Right on the outskirts. You guys can return. Yeah, the whole army is running away now. Oh, what? Why haven't they surrendered if everyone is literally running away? Oh, also, he's running away. We didn't capture him. Come on, be quicker than him. No, you're not. I think a unit somewhere then didn't rout, but instead... yeah, those have chosen to leave the battlefield. They're not running away. So when the last one of those crosses the line, it'll end. We don't have to wait for Elfwine to run the distance. That was a stonking victory. Well done, Orcs. 181 kills, Black Shield Archers. Well done. Our faction leader, I think he is at the moment, isn't he? No, Factionaire. Of course, Gerzog is the leader. And he's called Hazog. My gut has always thought that that is Beren. But I could be wrong. But I've always thought that that's Beren. I don't have any indicators other than he doesn't look anything like Aragorn. He doesn't look anything like Turin or Tuor. And so therefore the only thing I can think of the left is that he's Beren. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. Khazad-dum are interested in talking to us. But Khazad-dum are far away. I'm going to end the episode now whenever the end turner ticks around. And unless we'll do some little admin-y bits, but then otherwise this will be where the episode ends. Once the enemies have all had their go. Marauder Chief Hazol, Conqueror of Goblin Town. What a name. And he's called Snagger. No. Oh, Isengard are doing well. We failed the mission. And Eastlings of Rune have declared war on Dale. And Kingdom of Dale don't like us very much. Oh, and
Come and get me.
we are going to have to divert back because Goblin Town won't hold, I don't think. Northern army there in Goblin Town. Oh, hang on, actually. No, I have some units over here. Yes, there. They blend in with the snowy background well, don't they? You guys head south. So it won't be long before Torfilin falls. 6 turns for Filin. Witherboard 4 turns. And we now move on the capital of the Anduin itself. Bjorn's Walls.
Chop 'em to pieces. Is that what you want?
Where we find Elfwine, who fled, of course. We'll kill them. Kill them! Anyway, for now, that's all. I'm going to go and enjoy my dinner. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you have. And until we speak again, dear friends, let me know your thoughts on the Melkor video and just generally older lore videos. But until then, Nevair Neden Perimad Melunin, and farewell.